Alright, so the story starts with Vicky riding his bicycle home. As soon as he arrives home, he finds his wife, Melinda, sitting on the staircase. They greet each other, then they go inside upstairs. That's when Melinda opens the door for Chelsea, who will be watching their daughter, while they go upstairs, prepare themselves, and then they head out to the party. As soon as they arrive at the party, they greet the guests and they serve themselves a little bit of some food. And that is when Melinda then goes off to a different room. She notices one of her friends, Joe, joining the party shows. She goes on to greet him and they disappear. Vicky then goes out to look for her only to find Melinda and Joe kissing. She notices them and then stops. They head to the dance floor, and that is where Vicky and Mary then watch Melinda and Joe having a little bit of fun. Vicky then meets with Joe and tells him that he has unalived someone who was close to Melinda. He feels threatened, tells Melinda that he's heading home, and then goes off home. After the party then, Melinda asks Vic what he has told Joe, for him to leave so soon. He denies saying anything. The next day, he drops the daughter at school and meets a friend who asked him about him unaliving someone, and he says it was just a joke. He then goes on to meet some friends. Miles tells Vic that it is messed up for the fact that Melinda is sleeping around in front of them. So back home, Melinda gets upset over what he did last night and tells that he should apologize to Joe and her too. So Joe gets invited inside the house. He asked about Melinda, who was upstairs. Melinda comes downstairs. He prepares a toast and she tells Vic that the toast really is amazing. Vic then goes on to read some bedtime to the daughter. When he's done, comes downstairs, finds Melinda and Joe having a little bit of fun. He goes in the kitchen, breaks a plate. Melinda comes, and then Vic then goes on to meet with Joe and tells Joe that he has ordered an Uber. He meets Lionel, who tells him that he has unalived someone, and the friends then defend him by saying that it was just a joke. During the game of the daughter, he receives a call about a transfer from Melinda's account to a guy named Child, who is a pianist. So he decides to then call different locations about the live music, finds one, goes there and sees his wife is also present at the live music being close to Child. So he goes home, waits for his wife, who comes late, drunk and smoking. He gets upset. The next day, they go to a pet shop and buy a pet for the daughter. While heading home, Vic notices Charles. So he does the same thing, finds the location, invites his friends, and then tells Miles that that's the guy who is teaching Melinda some piano lessons. We then see Melinda and Charles having a little bit of private time. She comes the next day home late, midday, and Vic gets upset and decides to confront her, asking her questions where she was, what she did, with who she was, and she'll get surprised at Vic's reaction and then tells him that, well, I can tell you everything that he did to me and everything that I did to him if you really want to know. They go to a party, have game time. Everyone was having a little bit of fun, and then Melinda then introduced Charles to everyone. When he was done, he plays piano for everyone. Everyone starts dancing and having a little bit of some fun. Melinda then calls Charlie, introduces Charles to Vic, and then they disappear. Vic goes out to look for her at the pool. Mary then tells him that they might be upstairs, so he goes inside, check everyone, goes upstairs. That's when he finds Melinda and Charles living in the same room, heading to the pool, and Vicky follows them. He sees them having a little bit of too much fun. Melinda notices that Vicky is watching them, so they decide to stop. Rain starts pouring down. Everyone goes inside except for Vic and Charles. Then we see Vic inside the house together with everyone. Music is being played, and everyone is dancing and having some fun. And then Melinda then starts looking for Charles. She goes from one room to another, then goes outside, finds the body, alerts everyone. Everyone comes out and jumps inside the pool, trying to get the body out of the pool while someone else is calling for the cops. Melinda gets upset at Vic for not doing his best or not trying his best to try to revive. The detective then arrives at the location and starts interviewing everyone. Melinda said that it was Vic who killed him. The detective then decides to have a one-on-one conversation with Vic. And heading back home, Melinda gets upset and starts beating on Vic. Next day, while riding his bicycle, he starts remembering everything that he did last night inside the pool. He stops in front of a building, notices a car, ignores it, starts pedaling, and the same car comes from behind. He stops and then the car passes him. At school, he meets a friend who tells him that her husband is going on about telling everyone that he's the suspect about unaliving someone. So he decides that to invite the same guy, Lionel, and then he kind of threatens him. Walking down the road, he notices the same car, looks inside the car, notices a camera, and notices then his wife inside the restaurant. So he decides to go inside and introduces himself. Then he bursts into Lionel's house and accusing him about hiring someone to spy on him. He denies the accusation and later on pulls up the evidence. His wife then gets annoyed. Driving home, he finds Melinda with another male friend. He decides to stop, gets out of the car, and checks on them walking down the road, being too close and kissing. Melinda then invites Nick, where Nick then shows Nick some of his snails, and they go upstairs in the kitchen. Melinda tells Vic that Nick was the first guy she slept with. While washing the dishes, Nick and Melinda decide to sneak upstairs in a room. Vic follows them, finds Melinda half undressed. Melinda notices Vic, stops, and then Vic goes downstairs. And then while inside the car, he calls Nick walking down the road, tells that Melinda is looking for him, that he wants to show him a building. So he goes inside, driving to a forest. They stop, drop off, grabs a stone, throws at Nick. Nick starts bleeding. He grabs another stone and throws at him. Nick falls backwards, hitting his head at the stone and gets unalive. So he has to now get rid of the body by sinking it inside the river. And when he's done, he drives back home and he celebrates with his daughter. Melinda asks them what are they celebrating. He says, "Well, we are celebrating life." He then goes on to his office where starts looking at some different pictures. When he's done, comes inside the house and he finds Melinda preparing some breakfast and they are preparing some picnic actually. So they head out to the same place where he had to hide a body. He runs out to the daughter who was too close to the edge and asks the daughter to get away from the edge. Heading back home, Melinda tells Vic that she forgot her scarf. Vicky then tells her that he can go and get the scarf first thing in the morning. He goes out to look for the scarf while Melinda is in the bunker and finds a wallet who belongs to Nick. After arriving the destination, he gets a stick and goes inside the river, trying to push the body deep inside the river. That's when now Lionel then appears with the scarf, and he tries to come down closer to Vic. The hand of the body then floats. Lionel notices it and tries to run away, while Vic grabs his bicycle, tries to follow him. Back home, Melinda is trying to decide whether she stays or leave. The daughter notices the suitcase, grabs the suitcase, takes it downstairs inside the pool, tells the mother that she doesn't want to leave. Lionel is trying to text someone while driving. He loses the phone. Tries to grab the phone. Vicky falls in front of the car, and Lionel tries to avoid hitting him. In trying to avoid, he falls off the cliff, crashing. Vic then comes closer to the excuse me, to the edge. He rides his bicycle back home, finds his wife sitting on the staircase, and they greet each other. And then that's when Melinda then burns the evidence.